Yo, what's going on, you guys? So, we just got back from the gym. A nice little workout today. I didn't even can do that, regardless of you know how good you may be right now. You know, you still have that vision of yourself of you being the best you can be, even if you're still always the student. Okay, learning every single day to move forward in that direction. Never fail to see yourself as that already, but always remember that there's always more progressives. Okay, there's always more to learn about whatever it is that you want to do, and there's always areas in our life for us to improve in. Believe in yourself. The art of staying young, like all the successful people say, you have to believe in yourself and the things that he wants. Because since the body goes, say hi to Bond, hold on. Before we continue even further and we move into detail of what that, hey, go choose on something else. Chewing on my computer cable thing. Yeah, animals, right? Events. That's what we were going to look up. Events. Or events. Okay. To show clearly or make evident or manifest. To prove. Okay. To make clear. We could use that. Okay. So, mental attitudes in the progression of youth is clearly evinced. It's clearly made clear by the desired results. Must be consistent with natural law, and must act in harmony with the expressions of this law, both in mind and body. To comply with natural law in its physical actions and ignore its metaphysical actions, or vice versa, is to neutralize results. Kind of like what we were saying earlier, the credibility that, hey, this works in my life, okay, and this is how I did what I... It would not be possible for man to perpetuate his youth for an indefinite period if natural law made old age inevitable. Nor could man learn to stay young through the application of any other law than the one that produces youth in the domains of nature herself. Almost done with this chapter. I went ahead and looked at it really quick because I wouldn't want this video to be too long. Personality is an instrument, not a final product, and can be changed of man. It is the purpose of natural law to supply man with those essentials that he may require to promote the object of his existence, and as this object is advancement, nature is prepared to supply everything that may be necessary. His nature must manifest the highest worth of his conscious being. His world must be filled with the richness of his present sphere of existence. His joy must be complete, and he must live. However, before he can live such a life, he must learn to stay young. And exact science declares that he can. Now that is the end of chapter 1 on, according to exact science, man can do whatever he learns to do, and he can learn anything. Thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video with me. This is great information that we're reading, and we're very excited to read this. Because like I said, this is our very first time going over this book, so it's very exciting for us. Remember our daily affirmations that we are the lights of the world, you and me, and together we can make a difference in this world. And in order to do that, it starts with us. Okay, we need to make a difference within ourselves. And with all that being said, I'll see you on the other side of the galaxy, Creator.